Board of Supervisors of Madison County, member Jonathon Weakley. There's your first check, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ann. Thank you to the rest of the committee here. Thank you, John, for the kind words. Some of you may remember last time in June I did announce I had a quick tidbit of information. I was running for the board. It was unofficial. I'd like to let you know it is official now. I've got all my paperwork in and all that filed. Just want to give you a brief overview. A lot of folks asked, who's your folks, how long you lived here, and all that good stuff. I know how it works. I'm born and raised here all my life. Just a quick information on myself, and then I like to move into where my thoughts and interests move forward in politics, and then on to some things I think that I expect as a citizen, but also as a board member who's willing and going to serve you. Lived here, 32 years old, lived here all my life, live out in the Riva area, the Madison side, obviously. Purchased the house before my father took ill and passed. My wife and I purchased the house from him. Been there all of our life. My wonderful wife Cindy is there in the audience, which was a key important role of me deciding to run. I believe in prayer and I believe in family support. And I think you have to have those two before you can even be committed to move forward. So I thank my wife and my family for that. I thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here to speak to you. Speaking of that, I do go to the summit. We have some local summit folks here. I do go to church here. We're located out at the high school. Again, I mentioned I am a Christian. Kind of puts me into the, I'm not saying those who are not in the Republican Party that are not, but I have those core values. I view myself, I am running as a Republican, but I view myself as a fiscal conservative. I believe that's where we need to be. The fiscal part is obviously the monetary part. You've got to be responsible there. If not, you hand it off for my generation, you hand it off for this generation here. You can't just spend, at least without priorities, at least without understanding. So that's the physical part. The conservative part, believing in family. I wish I'd have brought my two here tonight, but everybody would probably pull their hairs out. But my sister's watching them. But just love kids, really love kids. That's one of the ways I've determined my success. Everybody says, how are you successful? Some people mention college, some people mention their pro careers. I like to have some of their contributions. But me, it was being a parent for the first time, because I feel like that is one way that you give back through the upbringing that hopefully all of us has had a pleasure of bringing. I'm not talking about the current TV upbringing, your kids. I'm talking about the core family values. That's what I feel the conservative side of it, family values. Rolling that into my interest in politics comes from family values. I was a pleasure, as I mentioned, I'm 32, and I thank everybody for welcoming me, because I wasn't sure last time when I first came here. I thought, I don't know a lot of folks, but really you guys have made it warm and welcome. I know it's not going to be fuzzy along the campaign, but I believe in fighting what I believe in. But back to how I got affiliated with politics. I remember growing up in the Reagan years. Some may be for, some may be against. But what I liked about Ronald Reagan was that I felt like he talked to the people. He actually stood behind and believed him. Some people can say that was scripted. Some people can say that, it was just all an act. But I believe he had family values in this country at that time. We actually had a Congress that had family values at that time. And it wasn't just all the nonchalant shove legislation down your throat like it is now. We might be somewhat in the commie like we were at one point in his administration. That's how I found love into politics. I watched my father make comments against some members of Congress, and I always wondered what terminology, what is he talking about, as a 6 and 7 year old, what is this terminology talking about? But as I went through school, I've been out in Criggersville, so I don't know if any folks have been through that wonderful school system that used to exist. I remember coming through history class, loving history, learning about this country, very patriotic. I have not served, but I have a lot of respect for those who are currently out there, either in the civil role or as contractors, or those who are serving overseas. But that's where my interest comes in there. And some folks say, why you, why now? Last time I didn't get in, and I felt like that it would have been the wrong decision. I didn't feel like God was moving in that direction. I didn't feel like it was the right thing for my family at that time. But as I pick up the local paper, as I talk to folks I do know, and here lately on the campaign trail of folks I don't know, The consumption I'm getting is what I feel, and what few board meetings I've been to, is you're not feeling like you're being listened to. And my policy, I had the high policy. I keep it simple: honesty, integrity. If you don't have high, it's bye for me. Everybody deserves the right to be respected and heard. This is a democracy. It's not a dictatorship, as you know, it may be on the federal level. I don't want to see that here in this county. You'll see a lot of votes, and I know with the 5-member board, you'll see a lot of votes going 3-2, but it can't be consistent 3-2 individuals. You need to at least listen to what the folks have to say. Don't have your mind made up before you come to the meeting, and don't let it be a personal issue that makes you make up your mind. You know, someone hurt your feelings at a football game, whatever. That's a personal issue. You know, take care of that on your own personal time. But what I like to bring to the table, what I know I can bring to the table, is honesty and integrity. I'm going to tell you straightly how I feel. I don't believe in sugarcoating much. It's just how I like it. That's how I like my pastor to preach to me. If you get your toes stepped on, it's just how it is. I'm not insensitive. That's not what I mean there. But I believe in being honest and being straightforward. And that's what I expect out of others, and that's what I feel like I deserve to give back to others. I'm going to sit here and listen to you like you guys are giving me a chance here tonight to talk to you. You're sitting here respectfully listening. That's what you should have on the board. That's another belief that I have in there. But also, I'm very concerned, and one of the main reasons why I'm running is that when I do pick up the local paper and talk to folks, it's just spin. You know, we're going to go on this, whether it was, you know, past funded projects like the courthouse, which I don't know if anybody can tell me how much that project cost. What did we get out of it? How much did we go over? We know it's overage, but how much did we go over? That's where transparency should come out. I'm not talking about that fake Obama transparency that was promised to you. I'm talking about what your tax dollars pay. You should know. You should know where that goes. That's just one project. There are some good things. I don't want to knock this board totally. Whether you guys are for or against it, I don't know. I did take the opportunity to go visit Hoover Ridge. I want to see where my tax dollar went, and many like you know, was that another just expense that we did not need? For those who've been out there, you have your right to feel the way you feel. For those who haven't, I encourage you to go out there. It's located behind the primary school, actually behind the farmer's market. I feel that's a good thing. It was a good decision by them because, again, it's family values. That's what this county is made on. This is rural. This is family values. We're not running casinos here. We're not running big-time city here. I'm not saying we don't have room for folks moving in from the city. I'm just saying this is our way of life. Folks love that here. Someone spoke to me just a minute ago. I think it was Mr. Arthur talking about, you know, post offices and stuff like that closing. I know we have a lot of local issues. I don't know if that's something that I can control. I will look into that. But there are local issues here. And part of her concern, and I'd like to share it if you don't mind, is that one thing she enjoys is the friendly service that you very seldom get at places nowadays. That's what this county is about. That's what I grew up in. That's what I remember. From the hootenanny days we had at Craigsville School to, you know, the one-on-ones we would have with the principals in school, to you had coaches that was like an extension of your family. And that's what I believe this county is. I believe it still is. But I believe the path right now we're on, we have to prioritize. First and foremost, if we're going to borrow money, first, why? Let's let the public vote on it. And if so, what is prioritized? We can't just go into it blindly and just want to spend. It leaves everybody accountable for. It leaves a lot of folks frustrated because there's no explanation for it. So that's why I'm asking folks to vote for me, because of the honesty and the integrity. Keep it short and simple, because I know folks will have questions. Feel free to field those. I'll take them from anybody. I know this is generally a Republican-heavily thing, but I'm not going to go avoid certain meetings because it might be another demographic.
I got two questions. The first question is, what do you see as the principal role of the supervisor? And the second question is, what is the relationship, or should be the relationship, between the supervisor and the county administrator?
Okay, this is how I see it. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to shove something else up in there, and I'm going to answer your question. I'm not going to dance around too much. I worked in local government, and September 13th will be 11 years in it. And so I work for Culpeper County.
What do you do?
I do water and wastewater treatment. I started off over the town of Culpeper. I moved into a utility inspections role before I took a job with Culpeper County.